So I welcome all of you to the Sutta teaching session, and as you all know, these days we are conducting a question and answer session and particularly emphasizing the practice. And if you have any question related to the practice, you can ask that. And if you have any other Dhamma related question, that also you can ask, and I can try my best to answer that as well. So I like to invite all of you to participate actively and raise your hand if you have a question.
Hello, Andrade. Feel free to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear me. I can hear you.
Just a quick question, but I just want to know, so when we do Kayanupassana, when we focus on the body, I just want to know, because we don't really feel the thoughts, we feel a bit more serene and happy about the thoughts, we don't really go after the thoughts during that time. Just want to understand, are those thoughts called Kriyasitvili at that moment? I just want to out of curiosity.
No, we can't say those are Kriyasitvili. Because Kriyasitvili, we can simply say the thoughts which related to the process, or with related to any kind of activity. So that the Kriya Sit, activity related Sit, or there may be a better term in Abhidhamma for that particular type of thoughts, which are actually meant for Arahants. So the idea is that when he is completely free from eye-making, mind-making, and all the raga, dosa, moha, the greed, hatred, and delusion are abandoned. So he is not doing any activity for making a self and to confirm a self, and so the activities are mere activities. It is so the ignorance is not available at all. So ignorance is completely cut off. So all the activities what he make does not produce any new karma. That is the interesting thing. So, but everyone else, when they are conducting activities, in case they have certain amount of ignorance, then definitely it has the potential to create karma, has a potential to have some kind of a consequence. But the Arahant is different. So all the activities what he conducts doesn't accumulate any new karma. So therefore the thoughts that he entertained after his full enlightenment is called the Kriyasit. So we simply say process, just a mere process. In a way that we can simply say like this, just for your understanding. Now say for example you are looking at a child, for example. Okay. And assume now you have a son and you are looking at a son. And so son is there and you are as the mother. So mother and son is there, and so you see your son. So this is the typical terminology we are using, and this is the typical experience that we are going through. And there is a seeing object and there is a seer as well. You got the point? So this is the typical conventional ignorant level that we are playing with. This is what we learn, that is what we do, and this is how we are continuing. But on the other hand, when Arahant is considered, he is merely seeing without a seer and without an object. Object in the sense he may not, he probably, if he want, he can conventionally say this is his name is this, and his name he was my previous son, or whatever he can say. But when he is operating properly, it's a mere seeing, but there is no subject-object relationship. That only the activity is there, only the process is there. Other than the process, there is no any subject-object relationship that he is preparing in his own mind. So mere process is happening. So what happened to us is, even for us, mere process is happening. But ignorantly, we insert a person, I am the one looking at it. And then there is a son, so that is my son. So that is ignorantly we do all that personalization.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, Bhante, if you have some time, is there a way you could explain the three, like the Apanita and Animitta Cheto Vimukti, just three, like just a summary of those three parts?
Yes. So basically, assume that someone is practicing Vipassana meditation, and as a result of his practice, he is more understanding about the impermanence, anicca. So he may be going through Vedananupassana, maybe Kayanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, whatever. But his thorough understanding is mainly based on anicca, based on the impermanence, transient nature, arising and passing away of the phenomena. So as a result of that, there may be a situation where the process become very, very subtle and on the other hand fairly extremely rapid, and now he can't pick the signs, whether it is any kind of a shape, any color, whether it is now assume if it is a Vedana, a feeling. Now he can't even understand whether it is a pleasurable feeling, peaceful, painful feeling, equanimous feeling. Even to that level, the sign extraction or picking of the sign has abandoned, because he's unable to see that, because the process is extremely very fast in a way, completely quickly changing, extremely transient. So as a result of that, now mind can't properly establish on a particular object. So what happened is, now his mind get liberated, completely released, what we call from the signless, animitta. So he can't take the signs. Now for our mind to get established, we need some kind of a sign. So actually through our senses, how we are gathering information, how we are communicating, or how we interacting with the outside world is based on the signs. Now when we are looking at someone, we pick certain signs. When we hear a particular sound, we pick signs. When we smell, we pick signs. So so our whole sense experience is thoroughly based on the picking of signs, recognizing signs. But at this level, he can't do that. Now the mind can't establish on particular object, no, not on any sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and any touchable, and not even a thought. So the mind becomes completely released, and this release is particularly called the signless vimokka mukha, though the animitta vimokka mukha. The freedom came through the signlessness. And assume now, so this is one way of freedom, possibility of release of the mind. And on the other hand, assume now someone is practicing and he understands, okay, the whole five aggregates are impermanent, but particularly his focus is the dukkha nature, the suffering nature, unsatisfactory nature, because he see that all aggregates are subjected to impermanence, transience, arising and passing away, and as a result of that, it's an utter suffering going on. So his way of looking at it, his perspective is based on the suffering side. So unsatisfactory. So either it may be past five aggregates, present five aggregates, future five aggregates. No point of expecting any of these, because they are going through a torturing mechanism of the impermanence. So it's a kind of a torture going on. Now he is more into the dukkha, and result is, as a result of that, he become more disenchanted about it, and he basically want to let go of it, and he become desireless, basically. So because since there is no desire, now the mind completely relinquish. Now that is called appanihita, because it is desireless. No point of wishing further, no point of expecting further, no point of further desiring. What you have to desire is actually the dukkha, suffering. So why are we going to desire suffering? So then basically he abandoned everything, he relinquished everything, let go of everything. So the mind becomes free through this appanihita vimokka mukha, desireless or aimless, kind of freedom. And then the third one is more into anatta. Now assume that someone is practicing vipassana and he understood thoroughly the non-governability, uncontrollability, and causelessness. There is no anything substantial. So that is what he understood. So then he has nothing to stand on, because everything is empty, everything is causeless, everything is unsubstantial. And as a result of that, now mind can get freed. So it is called the emptiness, or the sunyata cheto vimutti, or rather sunyata vimokkamukha. The emptiness as a mind's release, we can say.
Okay. So does that mean the mind and the body, they see as like this? Like if it's dukkha, they see both the mind and the body. Like when you do Kayanupassana or something, they see it as dukkha.
But when he is practicing Kayanupassana, particularly, he is seeing the rupa, the matter, the materiality aggregate, the matter aggregate as the dukkha. But still, we can't say that he thoroughly understood the mental aggregates. Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, he thoroughly understood as dukkha. It is arguable. Actually, the mind can be released, but at the same time, if some sort of attachment is there for the mental components, so his mind might not get released, because even though he can let go of the matter, the rupa, but his mind get trapped in the mental parts. So that's why, basically, that's why. So that's why sometimes it can happen, because if the mind is fairly refined and he has some understanding about the mental parts, and now he has completely let go of the body, mind can be released. But it depends on the person. But anyway, Buddha has shown the potential. Now, say for example, in the Satipatthana Sutta, the potential was shown at each anupassana level. Even in Kayanupassana level, he say, okay, he can become completely free from any kind of a grasping. Even in Vedananupassana, Buddha repeats the same thing. He can be free without grasping anything in the world. Now, even Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, he repeats the same thing. One can be free without grasping anything in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we find out when we are in the initial stages of Vipassana, there is no way of finding which path you are taking. Is that correct, Bhante?
Which path in the sense? You mean the Animitta, something like that?
You wouldn't be
Actually, you don't need to. Actually, you don't need to. You don't need to.
Okay.
If you are trying to find it, it's a burden to the practice, and it's a kind of a hindrance to the practice, because it's better allow the mind to naturally flow with the practice, rather than we trying to figure out from which kind of a door that the mind going to release. So that is completely unnecessary. Now these are merely for theoretical understanding. Actually, during the practice we don't need to worry about from where the mind going to release. So we better simply practice wholeheartedly. Wherever it is going to release, it will happen naturally. It's as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a result. Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Thero Sannai.
Yeah, Thero Sannai.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to invite Mora. Feel free to unmute.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Bhante. I have a question about what we just discussed about.
Mm-hmm.
Do they call it lakna? There's 3 different impermanence, suffering, and non-self, and one can be stronger than the other?
We can't say one is stronger than the other. Everything is, all 3 characteristics. So they are typically called as the universal characteristics. And in Pali, the samanya lakkana, it's a common characteristic. And so all are extremely powerful. All 3 are really powerful. But there is we can find, by the way, a kind of a tendency that one typically starts with the impermanence.
Yes, for me too. Impermanence seems to be the driver.
Yeah.
But then the other two come up
maybe naturally.
not to the same level, but
Yeah. Because Buddha
so
particularly,
complete.
Buddha has really, clearly mentioned that one who understands impermanence can then later, or as a result of that, can properly establish in anatta. Anatta sanya santhati. There's a beautiful sutta called Meghiya Sutta. So there Buddha particularly mentioned anicca sanyino meghiya anatta sanya santhati. So if one has the thorough understanding about the impermanence, he can ultimately end up in the proper understanding of the anatta, the non-self. So impermanence is the most critical, or rather we can say the big, more comprehensive, the base or the foundation of the whole thing. It can lead to either suffering or non-self. So that may be possible. And sometimes certain teachers are showing certain relationship between these three as well. Now, say for example, if someone is release their mind through animitta, so now he is very much like continuing with that. So then probably at another later time he can move more towards the appanihita and ultimately end up in the sunyata. So then mind become more and more appreciating the emptiness. So this kind of evolution can happen during one's practice.
Yes, so my own experience, I didn't know much about Buddhism. So I read somewhere that you can't have two mind moments at the same time. And I thought, what are they talking about? There's multi-skilling. I can have two thoughts. I'm a woman, So in my practice, I tried to investigate it. And then when I was on the chair, I realized I'm no longer feeling the breath. When I'm hearing something, I'm going to that sense. So this thing of investigation, is it something where you can, it's almost like a scientific thing where you can have a proposition and go and have a look at it during meditation? Because that's when I realized things, and then my practice became more and more and more.
Yes. This is the area that Buddha encouraged, really, the yoniso manasikara, in one sense, that you're supposed to see through, you're supposed to penetratively look at things. You have to go to the source. This is one way of looking at it. And on the other hand, in the vipassana practice, so you are supposed to develop certain amount of mindfulness, and then you have to get into the sampajanya, the clear comprehension. Sati sampajanya. So mindfulness and then clear comprehension. On the other hand, I would say sati sambojjhanga and then dhammavicaya sambojjhanga. First the mindfulness as an enlightenment factor, and then one get into the dhammavicaya sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of investigation.
And during that time, do you have to have something in the mind to test, or you're just observing without having? Because beforehand, I had doubt about what was written, so I wanted to test it. So that was my approach. But now I don't have it like a testing thing.
Right. No, actually, this dhammavicaya or the wisdom, basically we can say have three stages. So three types, I would say. The first one is based on the book knowledge. Say you read something, you hear something, and that also gives you some understanding, some level of information, some level of knowledge is there. What we simply call it as the Sutta jnana. So you gain something, you heard something, and you read something. Based on that, you have some kind of an understanding. The second stage is where you do a kind of a thorough analysis. You do some comparison, you do some logical reasoning, all that. And then that also leads to further understand what you have heard. That's another level of understanding. And the third level is the experiential type of an understanding, what we call as the bhavana me panya. For that you need a quiet mind. Actually, it is not some kind of a thinking going on. Rather, The mind has to be very quiet, fairly focused, and free from biases. But now you are doing a complete observation, thorough investigation with a fairly tranquil, calm, focused, mindful mind. And to that mind, then you get a thorough understanding that is actually an experiential knowledge. So all three are ways of developing wisdom.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to invite Yasala for the next question.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Bhante.
Yep.
I would like to share a recent incident, Bhante. Is that during a walk, instead of carefully walking through a gap, I did just jump and landed on one leg. And immediately I realized it was a foolish thing to do. And my knee felt like crooked, and then strained my knee. I think it did strain my knee. But in fact, no big injury. I could still complete the walk. So that is the incident, Bhante.
Right.
And then, so still like during the walk, there were many thoughts like giving me pros and cons of what happened in my mind. Yeah. Like the pros were like, I was happy that there was no injury, and then I could still. So I thought that could have been a good strength of my legs or the things that I have done. And then also there were cons coming up, so that giving me the fear of what happened if this was the other way, if it was broken. I can't do my things. I can't do walking meditation, sitting meditation. So that way, Bhante, there are pros and cons going into my mind.
Right.
Yeah. So initially at that time, I thought the negative thoughts, or let's say cons, I thought, they were the manifestation of the self that's trying to, make a self out of this.
Right.
But then after a while, I realized, no, not only the good, bad ones, even the good and bad, both pros and cons, I suppose, were manifestation of self. Yeah. And Bhante, one thing I also noticed that even though there were pros and cons, there were another underlying thinking going in my mind, like kind of feeling quite natural. And I was like, that was accepting what happened. And, I thought, that is something that has to happen. And then it happened. This is the outcome. Let's accept it. But even though it is there, many times the pros and cons are overwriting it.
Right.
Yeah. So, Bhante, my question would be like, if the pros and cons are really the self manifestation, what about that natural feeling giving me like acceptance, and is that also manifestation of self?
We can't say self actually, because there can be selfless thoughts in a way. I mean, so thoughts are, we can't simply say mere thought. Every thought is a wrong type of a thought, and every thought has a mark of a self. So there may be thinking, but as a process. Now, as you said, now something has happened, so certain thoughts were provocated as a result of that, thoughts were initiated as a result of that. But if you are not owning them, if you are not attributing a self unto them, then they are merely thoughts. We can't say that you are making a self out of those thoughts. Now, as you probably have heard, thoughts without a thinker. You are not making a thinker out of thoughts. We don't have to. But thoughts are happening by the way. Thinking is happening by the way because of this particular, whatever the activity that you have gone through. So it has provocated some kind of a thinking. But it is not compulsory for us to grasp it and attribute it to a self and feeling bad and I am a stupid and I am a fool, why did I do this? Likewise, kind of a self-accusation. If you are going to such kind of a self-accusation, definitely then you have prepared a self. Yeah. But otherwise, if you are simply notice that thoughts are coming and going, they are merely thoughts. And that's it. If there is something to learn, that's also fine. But you understood thoughts are as merely thoughts. You didn't go to grasp them. They are simply clouds going on in the mind sky.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, Bhante, if I were to accept the pros and cons and let's say really following through that, and that would have been the manifestation of self, right? In that case, then.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yeah. So Bhante, I think I agree with the neutral feeling what you mentioned. I think I can understand.
Yeah.
But there was part of it that I had pros and cons going on at that time, thinking, the good side of it and the bad side of it.
Right.
But again, I would say, of course, I didn't do anything on that.
Right.
So that is still then not considered as a manifestation of self. Right?
It depends, I think. Now, assume that there are there are thoughts which are showing you the consequences. It's showing you the kind of adhinava, kind of repercussions of this, what you have done. So in such case, assume now you get into a self-accusation, or you get into any kind of restlessness, you start hating you start kind of having a kind of thought of ill will. Now, if these things happen, then you are more into the side of Nissarana, side of the hindrances. That means the mind has polluted. So we have because we can't have ill will without a person. So either I am there, I hate today's weather. Weather is a natural phenomena, but I am here. I don't like it. So then I am here and I don't like it. So that means I is there. So likewise, now the situation has happened. Situation is a kind of a neutral activity maybe. But I am here, so I have done something wrong. I have done a stupid thing. I am a fool. Now that is a kind of self-accusation, and then it has some kind of ignorance, definitely.
Right.
But by the way, I mean, what you are trying to do is very interesting, because
immediately it happened. The moment it happened.
Yeah. Sorry? We can't hear you now. Something happened. Don't know whether you jump again. Yes, but your voice is very vague and kind of very weak. I think you are experiencing some kind of a signal issue, reception issue. Yeah. So
you can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, now I can. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, but what I said last was that the immediately after it happens, I had a little bit of that kind of self-accusation, but I and then after a while it went away. Yes, I would say that.
Yeah, maybe that's more realistic. I mean, you understood that what you are trying to do is not necessary and it's eye-making, and then you slowly abandon it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante, for the advice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this next one correctly. Nissarana. Feel free to unmute.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. It's all good, Jennifer. It's happening. Thank you. Bhante, can you hear me?
Yes.
But I listened to, this is not probably a sermon from a Buddhist or from yourself. It's just that I randomly came across this video by a person named Rupert. I think his name is Rupert Spira. I think he's more of maybe a mindfulness teaching. I never listened to that, so I just listened just out of curiosity. And one thing, not necessarily I with my understanding is what I followed. I don't necessarily agree with what some of the stuff he said, but just one of the interesting things that he mentioned was a person coming not from Buddhism, I guess. He said that that I and all that we are always there's a being we are being that that when you take down the layers that we are always in the being. So and then I looked at the comment. It's called neti. So
Sorry?
I just wanted to understand. I think.
So what are the terms? Yeah, you are talking a particular term, being, right? B-E-I-N-G.
Being. So B-E-I-N-G. He's saying that. I think what he's trying to say is that when people this is contradictory to sometimes maybe what we practice. It's like the question was like people are saying, how do you get to the being, the yourself, like a being, right? So what his view was like it's where you're always in the being. It's just that you don't see it. It's just that because you have all this, I guess trying to get to what we say upadan, like we put a lot of thoughts, all these layers and all that, and we cannot come to our self. There's no self, but trying to explain this like a beings, right? So you take out the layers and you're always in the being. It's just that you don't see it because you don't accept it, right? So, and then I looked at it. It's I just wanted to, I guess what I'm trying to get to is, I think even, is that way in Buddhism called neti or something? Is there something like that in neti or something like that in Buddhism?
Neti.
Yes.
There is
explanation there.
Yeah, there is something called bhavanetti. Bhavanetti is a synonym for tanha, craving.
Okay.
Because you know that when we are wandering in samsara, now it is not that person, or it is not that a being kind of wandering, but rather we can simply say a process which is influenced by tanha. So, and again, the meaning of bhavanetti particularly mean that we always look forward. So there is a kind of an inclination in the mind every time. So what is my next activity? What am I going to do tomorrow? What I have to do tomorrow at my work? So what is my next event? What is my next promotion? What am I going to ask? So likewise, every time we have, even though we are staying in the present moment, even though the body is processing in the present moment, thoughts are happening in the present moment, but unfortunately there is a inclination in the mind towards the future. Always there's an inclination. That's why it's called bhavanetti. There's an inclination in the mind. It happens because of the bhavatanha. So the desire to become, kind of a motivation, kind of an ambition, kind of a hope. All these things are there. So it is a very subtle craving operating in our mind. That's therefore neti. Bhavanetti is what in the Buddhism mentioned. That is the desire to become, in a way. Desire to continue, desire to further live, something like that.
Yeah, and so one thing in my practice, because I'm not to say I because we say there's no self, right? So I mean that's book knowledge, right? So I like what you said, but that you go and investigate. So I actually did it in my one of meditation. Because I saw it slightly, but once I think I told you that falling. You said falling off a bicycle, you can always get back up, and then you fall, like you get used to it. Last time I said to you, so I actually looked at, but with that intention of looking at it, I went and in practice, in my sitting meditation, what I observed might not be right or correct on Buddhist. What I observe from myself is that when you go to that empty state, there is no being as such, but when we get the thoughts, and sometimes when we make the thoughts ours, like, then it creates a self. So actually there's no self. It's a construct we do, like, every, like, I don't know,
often.
continuously.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I observed. So it's not like there's a person. It's just
exactly. So that is what Buddha also. Yeah, that is what Buddha is saying. That is what Buddha is saying.
Okay.
So when ignorance is present, we create a self. We create the sense of I when ignorance is present. But when the ignorance is not present, there is no such existing self or making a self, creating a self. So when the mind is ignorant, creating self is there, making a self is there. We are actually making a self. It is not that existing self. Rather, we make a self time to time whenever the mind undergoes the influence of ignorance. But assume that someone is completely free from ignorance, an arahant, then he is not doing this foolish thing. As we already discussed, now there's mere processes are going on, but he is not making a self out of any of these processes.
Yeah. So I think I guess in the early stages, at least I can see it, but for like a few instances or like a certain, but then again I see that the construct comes again because you cannot stop it because you haven't broken it, right? So it's not like because your thoughts make you again.
Thoughts are fairly essential for us to make a self.
Yes. So it's I think it's more you practice. I guess you have more of that rather than like like where you couldn't make a self, sort of. I don't know how to say that. Like it's just that like in the image or the stages of the practice, I think that's something you I guess gain more and more. Is that right, Bhante? Like you sort of.
No, actually it is not. I mean, it is the practice. It is true, but there is a very beautiful sutta. It's called Ananda Sutta. I think in the Kanda Sangyutta, where Venerable Ananda beautifully mentioned how this sense of I happens. Upadayati ko auso ananda asmiti hoti no anupadaya. When there is grasping, the sense of I happens. So grasping is a prerequisite for the sense of I. Asmi, the I am to happen. The sense of I am to happen. Grasping is a prerequisite. Without grasping, you can't have any kind of sense of I am. If the grasping is very gross and it's fairly hard or very gross, then you have sense of I to a very maximum level. But even with the subtle grasping, the sense of I may be presenting. So that's the kind of in a way helping, inviting us to see whenever sense of I, with respect to what have I prepared a self. With respect to what, or which, based on what, grasping what sense of I has happened. So in the practice point of view, we have to look at like that. Now you feel sense of I immediately. Assume that you are able to be mindful about the sense of I making has happened.
Yes.
Now you can use Yoniso Manasikara, wise reflection, to figure out, okay, based on what, grasping what, now the sense of I has arisen. Because there should be something. There should be one of the aggregates should be grasped. Without such grasping, there can't be sense of I. Simple as that.
Yeah. So even to the point, like, I guess, like maybe when you say not the heavy, like where you feel very heavily, that's when you're like in totally, like, you're in your thoughts or whatever, you're totally like just, like no, what do you call, no satya, no,
mindfulness.
Just nothing like that. No mindfulness, right? So then you have the whole sense of I, right? But even during your practice, the way I understand what you're trying to say about this, like even when we have that, there might be some sense of I, because of the feeling that, like for example, if I feel I am doing a meditation, that is creating an I, like in a way, like because I put myself as a person doing meditation, right? So I think those things are the ones that are harder to capture, I think. Like the other part is easy to capture in a way when you start doing a practice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, now the grosser, easy parts quickly, drop off. Because we understand, okay, I have done a really foolish thing by making a self out of, say, having a lustful thought to a person, or to a anger towards a person. Then I have made a strong I, and you may be able to trace it quickly, and you may be able to abandon it quickly. But there may be subtle thinking going on, and based on what you have done something good, and any kind of wish or any such kind of very subtle thinking might be still going on, still affirming a self, still promoting a self, still regretting about self or something like that. So those may be still subtle, still going on. So that's why. So I mean, it's a kind of a refinement process. It's a purification process, but purification happens slowly. Purification happens gradually, in a way.
Okay. Then I have the last question from me. Is this different? At the stage of practice which I have been Bhante, like I truly feel that what do you say? I don't know how Kalyana Mitra, like that. You need that. Like earlier when I started, like maybe a few years ago, I felt like even coming to a session, or like you come to I don't know, once a month or whatever, or like you do your meditation, or that's enough. But now I truly in this stage, I feel like even talking to you for a few minutes, like I get that sense of like I don't know, being in the park, like that I need that sort of, like it's because when you come out of this, when you don't have that because with the whole world things like work or whatever, most of the people that, like at least people I associate, they are not in the path. They are like people who say about buying houses, buying cars, lavish goods and things like that, right? So it is very hard to relate, right? So is that something like Kalyana Mitra is something in Buddhism, right? You feel you should, that's one of the components, isn't it? I just want to verify that's something.
Yeah.
If I feel that's a very, it's for me, I feel like real urge or need to have that as well. Like otherwise, it's always like you on your own. So.
Yeah, that is crucial. Yes, that Buddha has particularly highlighted, particularly emphasized. This whole Buddha Sasana is based on the Kalyana Mittata. This is not the part of it, but the whole of it, he say, is based on Kalyana Mittata. So Buddha is the first Kalyana Mitta, the utmost kind of Kalyana Mitta. And what he say is now available as books, as the canon, as the Tipitaka. And even when we are reading a book based on the Dhamma, still in a way we are associating Kalyana Mitta, because that is his words. So he understood it, and he out of compassion he has preached that, and certain other Kalyana Mittas has recorded that, and then someone has written in a book and in a readable format. Then now I am reading it. So what a lineage that I am benefiting in a way. Now we need to understand that also. Now say for example, Buddha is the first Kalyana Mitta, the utmost. And then he uttered and he preached some Dhamma. But now he is not there. But for us to come, that what he has mentioned, what he has taught, what a kind of a long path it has traversed through. And all different kinds of people who out of compassion, out of their, gratitude, they have listened to that, they have memorized that, again and again, generation by generation, they have memorized that, came through long way like that, and in Sri Lanka now they have recorded that, they wrote it in books, and likewise now it has come to us. So whole Dhamma, whole our path, whole our practice in that sense depends on the Kalyana Mittata. That is a beautiful sutta. I can't exactly remember the name, where Venerable Ananda, he had a kind of a reflection, and he is saying to the Buddha, Bhante, I feel half of this asana, this Buddha Sasana is based on the Kalyana Mittata. And then Buddha categorically refuse it. He simply say, no Ananda, don't say like that. It is not the half, it is the whole of the Buddha Sasana is based on Kalyana Mittata.
Okay. Okay, Bhante. So then, good you verified. I asked you verified. So I think what I feel like, I feel a bit like that's the right path. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Answer.
Okay, thank you. And yes, Sean, welcome.
Saranai Bhante, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't log in the right time to host this meeting. But anyway, I'm so glad that Jennifer was there to, bail me out.
Right.
Anyway, I think I believe that's having her is that Kalyana Mitta for us today to get this conversation going. Since we are in that, there are multiple questions, of course, I have, and I have been sort of observing and trying to sort of collect all these, but I think I'll try to ration it for two. Since we are talking about the Kalyana Mitta, how would one really identify the true Kalyana Mitta, Mitra? Because there is so much of in this world of this communication, and how certain people try to sort of say certain things, even it is not right as right. And so a person who sort of listen to those type of stories probably will believe the false as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
How would one should use that type of, we as in the world, normal people are busy with things. They don't have time to go and research, and on the fly, the messages fly around through different social media. So we sort of tend to get this connectivity and then try to trust people, and then try to sort of build that type of trust on a false narrative, and then believes that this is. So my question for you, if you can sort of help for us to sort of identify what are the pitfalls of, and how to sort of find the right Kalyana Mitra from the wrong.
Mm-hmm. I think that is. I'm searching. Actually, there is a Buddha's words on that. How to find a Kalyana Mitra, how to, differentiate, the Asappurisa from the Sappurisa. Dukkarang karoti dubdadan dadati. That's a beautiful verse. It's not immediately possible to find it because his Kalyana Mitra is someone who is maybe better than us, above us, and we can simply say he is more developed than us, more into the Dhamma, and he is doing something good. He has some compassion towards the others. So I mean, some common sense things I am simply saying based on the Dhamma, but specifically there may be a sutta where Buddha highlight. And one thing I can remember now is that there's a beautiful differentiation he is saying. If there is any kind of a gratitude in someone, If someone is showing gratitude, he is into the Sappurisa side. But if there is no gratitude at all, then that is certainly a Asappurisa. So therefore Buddha, one very important criteria to understand Sappurisa is that he has certain gratitude. If he get some help from someone, learn something, any kind of help that he got from someone, then he has certain kind of a gratitude towards that person. But if someone simply quickly ignore it, forget it, and probably belittle it, and even criticize it, and then he is a Asappurisa. Such person we shouldn't associate. So likewise, Buddha, in many different ways that he is trying to highlight what are the qualities of a good person and what are the qualities of a bad person. So whoever that we recognize as a Kalyana Mitta has to have the good qualities that Buddha has highlighted.
Yes, so
there are other things. There are other, there's a very beautiful verse. That's what I can't remember that we used to use that during the chanting. It's not coming to my mind immediately. It shows about, it briefly highlights the qualities of the Kalyana Mitta actually. I'll find it down and maybe I can tell that on next week.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good. So I'll keep it that. And then my second question is, I just want to, because I think there, for every human being, the thoughts process will, unless you're a Rahato, a Pasebuddha or Buddha, a person who's sort of enlightened, the thoughts are always flowing like a river for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are times that I have seen these thoughts coming, and at some point in time when it becomes mine and I try to or I have to do certain things and the thought will come, it's time for you to do the lawn mowing or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to go and attend to that, or you create that process. What I'm trying to sort of see and understand from you as well, what is that definition of that separation of that a person seeing these thoughts coming in like a river, and then to be away as a individual on the banks and to see these flow, and or just try to sort of, when it gets entangled, where is that definition of that separation? That's what I'm trying to sort of find, and I don't know if I made the question clear.
Yeah, so separation actually happens with time. So basically we can't artificially introduce that separation, because typically our minds are ignorant and we naturally attach with something, and often therefore we are associating something. But as we are developing the vipassana, as we are developing wisdom, so that wisdom is is making a kind of an influence to the mind to detach, to have a kind of a separation, to have a kind of a distance from the experience. So rather than being tangled with the experience and experiencing something as I, myself, I am the one experiencing, I am the one seeing, I am the one talking, now one is simply experiencing rather than making an experiencer, because the wisdom has done that separation. Wisdom has properly made that separation in a way.
Okay. Understood. And I have sort of seen the reason why I asked that question. during the walking meditation, of course, you sort of feel how your feet touches and etc., and how it moves from one to another, and the softness and the heat, and if there is the moisture and all that, you sort of see that. And but when you see one thing, you don't see everything else, because your thought is in that moment in time.
Correct.
Either on the toe or the muscle, the movements, and the thoughts just, you feel it rather than you sort of think about it. And then it just as the whole of things that you see, everything. But when I sit and just do nothing but just see the mind's, chatter or whatever it is, and then there is a time that there's nothing in there in that space, but as a distance, there is a slight cloudiness running around. And that cloudiness of, there are certain type of signals only that I see. But if I call that signal, that becomes a chatter again, and you can sort of switch it off per se, that signal, if that, it's kind of ironic, but that is something what I have sort of seen, and it is really interesting. Just after the walking, you go and sit, and then that experience.
Yeah, correct. You are correct. So basically that's why the practice is the critical thing. And we can talk, but that mere talking, mere explanation, mere book reading, mere listening can't do this. But while you are continuing your practice, there you understand this detached observation. Distance observation is now happening with the practice. Not immediately, but as we are continuing the practice, you get a kind of a different perspective about your experience. Previously, we are tangled in it and we are completely in it. We are absorbed in it. But now as a result of the practice, now you get a kind of a different feeling. Now mind is little distancing. It's not really tangled in it. It is not in it. But experience is there. It is not that you are completely distracted either. But you are experiencing, you are observing something, but also not trapped in it.
Very good. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Thuran
Saranai. So the other thing that I found a little sutta, very short sutta, Buddha is mentioning Tihi bhikkave angehi samannagato mitto sevitabbu. So Buddha is saying, okay, monks, you need to associate a person, a mitta, a friend who possesses three factors. What are three? What are those three? Duddadang dadati dukkarang karoti dukkhamang kamati. So it translated as, here he is giving what is hard to give. The second one, he does what is hard to do. And number three, he patiently endures what is hard to endure. If a person is doing something like this, then he's a good person, he's a mitta, he's a friend. Better you go and associate. So this is one explanation available in a sutta, a mitta sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, Tika Nipata, the book of the threes. So we'll see what else is available maybe in future.
Very nice.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Thuran Saranai.
Okay, Thuran Saranai.
Thank you. And then Ratika, feel free to unmute.
Thuran Saranai, Bhante.
Yes.
I know your time is almost up, so I have two questions. I'm going to one on my meditation, and the other one I just heard at a Dani in our temple that you are doing somebody had gone for a retreat at Bhante Gunaratna's. I didn't know that you were there. Are you having any more retreats?
No, actually now I'm getting ready to leave Bhavana Society. Actually, they have the Katina ceremony on 12th. Either on 12th or 13th, I'll be leaving to some other place.
So is it somewhere in US or is it somewhere
US? US.
US? So will you have any other retreats? Because if so, I didn't know about this Bhante Gunaratna's retreat till I met somebody who had whose wife had attended it. Is there going to be another one?
Yeah, there is actually only one weekend retreat pending to conduct. I am coming to Seattle, but there is no retreat arranged there. And just one day program is there in Covina Temple in Los Angeles. And then that is on 25th of October. Then I am coming to New Jersey, New York. And the retreat is organized on 31st and 1st.
Of October.
October. Yeah, 31st October and 1st November. Another retreat that's a weekend retreat is organized.
So are you going back after that? I didn't know that you were going back so soon.
No, I was here for 4 months now, almost.
Okay, so then I'm going to miss you because I thought that in December I'm free and if you were having anything I would come for it because I've been not in town most of the time on and off. So that's okay. Now I'll ask if you change your mind and you're here longer, please let me know.
Okay.
But if you're going back end of November, then it's not like, if in middle of November I'll be free, but if it is you're going back like first week of November, then I'm not going to be able to attend this.
I'm leaving on first week of November, yes.
First week of November. Okay. So now I'll ask my meditation question, if you don't mind. I'll ask it quickly. So you had told me to do 1 hour of walking, half an hour of sitting, 1 hour of walking, half an hour of sitting. That working well. So I did it, and when I'm so I'll tell you how it goes now. When I'm walking, there are thoughts, but because I did a long stretch like that together, 10 days, it was. These thoughts are just coming, but I was not getting entangled in them. They are like far away. So they're not important. They were not anything important. That's the walking. They were like, I can't even remember. They were not of value. Let me put it that way. Okay. Then when I'm sitting, at the start there was a lot of signs or vibrations or whatever, so I could keep it very much easily inside the body, the mind, right? And but unlike the walking, it was more pronounced. Like the thoughts weren't coming that much, but the vibrations and all were more pronounced, right? Then after that, I'm not having much signs at all when I sit.
Right.
It was like as if I'm in a dukkha sukha or something.
Understood.
But because of the half an hour, I wasn't falling asleep. So I know I'm not falling asleep. Right. So then everything was good. I came back. I was continuing it that way. Then I had an incident where I was very upset and,
I see.
Brought back things from the past and, it was hard for me.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I had a lot of thoughts coming. And they were hurtful thoughts.
Right.
So I found that even with the 1 hour, half an hour, not enough. So I went in, I thought if I calm my mind with 1 hour, it might help. So I did the one hour also, right? I did the 1 hour, half an hour in the morning, right? And sometimes I was doing 1 hour sitting. I went back to 1 hour sitting, right? And then I found that was after about a week of 1 hour sitting that I was calm and I managed to get it, back to normal. Well, not a week, maybe 3 days. right? But on and off, these things were coming back. So do you recommend that I do still 1 hour, half an hour, 1 hour, half an hour? Or should I do that? And if I feel stressed out, or if I'm having lots of thoughts and they're not like the ones where I can just let it go very easily, just not get entangled in them, that I should go back to sitting? Should I mix the two? Is it okay to mix?
Actually, now you have mentioned that there is an occasion that mind has become fairly calm, fairly quiet, and you are feeling equanimous, right? Adukkama sukha, you mentioned.
Yes. Yes.
That is a good state, by the way. I mean, you have come to a level that everything. I mean, before you experience that, you are able to experience, different vibrations or whatever the body is showing you, the body is experiencing, that you are able to experience that, you are able to notice that. But ultimately, that also has disappeared and mind has become equanimous. That is a good state to land upon. And if you are able to come to that level, you better stay longer.
That happened because I was at a retreat.
Yeah, I see. So
right?
Now if it is happening again and again, it's something to encourage. So let it happen again, and once it is happened, don't get up, just stay further.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I had this incident and then it interrupted. That's why I am saying.
So don't worry about it. Now you forget it and come back.
Yes.
You need to revert back to the practice, and you can recover, because the practice help you to quickly return to your normal. To normalize.
Yes.
That is the resilience that you are gaining through. That is one important benefit that we are getting from our practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just continue the way I was doing, 1 hour walking, half an hour sitting. Now I'm not doing a lot like at a retreat, right? I'm at home. Now I do want to, actually tomorrow I'm flying to see my family, my daughter. So it's going to be a bit interrupted again. But then this is a joyful thing. So it's not like I get stressed out at all. But I should be practicing 1 hour, half an hour, 1 hour, half an hour. But if that half an hour is the sitting, then I should let it go, right? More?
Half an hour is what?
If the half an hour, now I'm doing the 1 hour walking and the half an hour sitting, 1 hour walking, half an hour sitting.
Yes, I heard it.
If that half an hour is calm and adukkama,
you continue that.
Then you're telling I should let it be longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because the thoughts are not.
No need to talk further. You just understood it. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, we'll take the last question.
Okay. Vimal, over to you on mute.
Avsarai Bante, I think my voice is clear.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, the nice discussion. The point actually I want to put forward is the Kalyana Mitra, how to identify sort of things. I also searched that there's a particularly named Sutta, Kalyana Mitra Sutta in Sanyutta Nikaya, basically. What it says, Kosala Sanyutta, what it says actually that the wise person, it's a diligent person, sort of thing is the Kalyana Mitra. The way I understood the Kalyana Mitra, who understand the 3 marks, this is the impermanence, everything is impermanence. When you get diligent, basically this is come and go. So we interact with the people in the society. We see it's not a personal thing. We something is happening, but we are not taking as a personal thing. Then it is the thing is settled. We can more easily solve the problem sort of things. That is what I understood. The quality of a Kalyana Mitra who understand these 3 marks, basically what we call is Anitya, Dukkha, Anatma sort of things. That is the thing I want to put forward. Much merit for the time.
Okay, yeah. I also found the same sutta. It's in the Kalyana Mitta Sutta in the Kosala Sangyutta. It's interesting that you pointed out. So basically that is where Venerable Ananda also has made that comment that the so when Kalyana Mitta is available, Katancananda Bhikkhu Kalyana Mitto, Kalyana Sahayo, Kalyana Sampavanko, Ariyang Attangam Maggam Bhaveti, Ariyang Attangam Maggam Bahuli Karoti. So basically Buddha is emphasizing that when someone is having a Kalyana Mitta, as a result of that, because of that association, you are slowly getting to the Noble Eightfold Path. So likewise, you are into the Dhamma. So one important factor of a Kalyana Mitta is that he himself is practicing and guiding others also to the Noble Eightfold Path. Or Buddha practiced that, and then he is explaining the Noble Eightfold Path and guiding others also into Noble Eightfold Path. So either way, so that is important point highlighted here. And good. Thank you very much. You pointing out. And apamattassa te maharaja vihirado apamadang upanissa itta garassa evam bhavisati. So something else now he's talking. Okay. I think thank you for pointing it out. Then we'll wind up the session, and I think Jennifer, probably you may be continuing with something further.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Thero Sannai.